Welcome everyone from all over the world, it seems. We're talking Australia, we're talking New Zealand. I haven't seen everywhere, even India. I've seen you guys from everywhere, and it's a pleasure to be here. I want to do a few things as we start. I want to ask you all to, in this webinar, please be kind and courteous, as everyone's time here matters. And I want you to use this webinar for what it's created for, and not as a sounding board. If you want to become popular, or you want everyone to take notice to you, or you want to show everyone how smart you are, don't do that here. This is really an opportunity to really learn how to use the products. If you don't like what we have, it's okay. We don't expect it's going to be for everyone, but please be kind and courteous so we don't use up anyone's time who's here to learn and get something out of it. The other thing is, I'd like to ask you to certainly, please remember to continue to open our email messages, because what we believe in is providing you something greater than a launch. We believe in providing products and then servicing those products day by day, week by week, and month by month. So we love JVZoo, we love Warrior Plus. We love those platforms, but one of the things that we want to do with our products and services, what we've been doing over the past decade, is creating a product and then continually enhancing it, updating it, and making it ready for you to have a platform where you can learn and master working in the internet marketing space. Even if you're not a guru, if you're not an expert for the last 20 years, you still can leverage it. That's our intention. So certainly you guys know that if I sound short and curt, I don't mean it. As I told you before, we started like you guys, and we really want to make sure that those of you that want to use it and leverage it, you can do that without having the taxing every month. So we got a lot of good stuff for you. This is just our first product orientation. We're starting with the Autoresponder because it's the central core of your business. How you communicate with your customers, prospects, and your subscribers is key to creating and doubling, tripling, quadrupling your income. So that's why we're here. Now, as I say that, if in fact your video freezes, just refresh your screen. The quality of how you experience this webinar is going to have a lot to do with your internet service. So if you're on 4G watching from your mobile phone, if you're in a country that has DSL and areas where it's lower speeds, you will have occasional freezing. You just refresh it, or we do provide the replays the next day. We email them out, and we like to put them in the back office for you. So now, what I'd like to do now is, first of all, is Dr. Charles Harper's here. Hey, Charles, how you doing, man? You ready to rock and roll? And also, Dwayne Jr. will be here in a hot second. We're going to break down the autoresponder from start to finish for you. So if you've never logged in and looked at the autoresponder, or you're going to spend the whole day being suspicious and trying to put us against the fence, you're going to have to do that on a different platform, because we have nothing to hide. But at the same token, we have a responsibility to everyone that's paid for this service to provide a clear understanding of how it works. And so don't use this as your opportunity to become popular. I'm warning you, if you want to be known, start your own webinar and invite us to it to see if we come. But do not use this webinar for that. So once again, if you can hear me okay, I want you to, don't worry, Simon, I'll answer that in this webinar. You want to know about the changed funnel cost? No biggie, okay? So we'll get to that in a few minutes. If you can hear me okay, right, and you can see us, type in the number 1 so I know that you can hear me. And then I'm getting ready to go out. Charles, I want you to, if you have anything you want to say about our live orientations and why we do them and what they can expect in the future, you can do that. I'm going to go out and start looking for my sites, okay?
Yeah, one thing we're definitely going to be doing this week and even beyond is making sure that we, first of all, bring you on live so that we can start answering your questions. And then we're going to cover a specific topic, and then we're going to take you through start to finish. Others of you, you've sent me email about doing videos Those are forthcoming. So those if you got questions, send them to me. We'll take those questions, we'll put them on the list, and we will answer them one by one. So we've got orientation in the mornings. We're going to have videos coming out to you. So everything that you need to know will come. So you ask us the question, answers come to the orientation. If you can't come there, make sure you watch it. Everything that you need to know in order to be successful with this platform, we are going to cover. So again, plug into the training. You will get what you need in order to use this platform to make money.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. And yes, for those of you who are, it's 2 a.m. where you live. Wow, it's exciting that you're even here. But there will be a replay available for you guys. And certainly, as Charles said, we got ongoing trainings coming. And if you miss them, don't beat yourself up. We will pride ourselves in making sure that the replays will be made available in 2 different ways. One by email, the other by putting it in the upper right corner of your back office. And so you'll hear more about that coming. And then, when possible, in our training area. So glad we got that out the way. And yes, we are constantly we'll be ongoing updating those training areas in the training area. Dwayne Jr., how you doing, man? Uh-oh, your audio's gone. Your audio's gone. You might have to update that. I'm about to go out and start showing how to set up your autoresponder from start to finish, and then I'm going to come back in, Dwayne and Charles, as you guys can help as we are looking to make sure these guys understand the importance of each part. And I'm gonna preface with this. If you have any ounce of laziness, or you hoping that just paying for a system is going to make you rich, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. We all have to work. I don't care what guru tells you, you just buy their next product and you're going to be rich. You got to understand something. The dreams that God's given you for your life will require some effort from you. That effort doesn't have to take a lot, but if your dreams aren't even worth an hour or two a day of your time of setting things up, your dreams, unfortunately, will die within you. And it's not necessary. So let's rock and roll. Let's go out, Charles, and let's get rocking. I'm going to start with just the initial setup. And Charles, when I'm going too fast and you think I need to stop or the screen's not working, just let me know, okay, bro?
I will. Yep.
All right. So we're going out, guys. And please don't start beating up the chat area. Follow along with me. So as we're inside of the dashboard, remember, you can always know what's going on or when you can register for something. If you missed the email, just log in and read what's coming up, including this webinar is here. That's why we have so many of you here today. So to start your autoresponder, to get going from start to finish, I'm going to say a couple things. You guys want to make sure as you set up your autoresponder that you already have your profile set up. The system should know who you are, because if you're going to start mailing people, trying to get sales, a lot of you guys, Charles and I were looking at yesterday at Dwayne Jr., we were looking at how many sales you guys are making on the DFY funnels.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's mind-boggling. I was surprised that some of you guys started the very day you bought it, started selling the DFY products, and you think that's something. Wait till you start selling the reseller packages. But if you go to set up your autoresponder and do that stuff, and you don't have, the system doesn't know what country you live in, it doesn't know your name and who you are, you're not going to be successful with this. We need to know who you are so you're paid accurately. If there's ever a challenge with something, it can be addressed. The next thing, before you set up your autoresponder, set up your payment options. If in fact you're going to have affiliates, you're going to need to set up this one. Put your PayPal email address here. If in fact you're going to be just selling your product and you're going to be someone else's affiliate, you need to put that PayPal address here, period. If you're concerned about the secret key, don't be. We're integrating soon authorize.net and some others. But when you talk about any other systems, they will not allow instant payments. They're going to need a secret key. But for you guys, make sure at least your PayPal is updated under the payment options section, period. Now, I've done that. We're going to go to the autoresponder dashboard, and we're going to create an autoresponder campaign. Charles and Dwayne, I thought about it. I think the best one to create is one where they can see the results instantaneously. because the questions that people are asking, I'm blown away. I've seen questions that have come through that, hey, look, boy, this is really kind of courageous of you guys to just create an autoresponder. That's a lot to chew on. I mean, there's a lot of things related. You guys are being the experts, and you're going to teach us how to do it. And you're saying that, oh my gosh, there's things related to deliverability, things related. Hey, guess what? We've been creating autoresponders for years, and literally, I think starting about 3 years ago, we've had millions of messages going out a day from our autoresponders. You are here today because of our autoresponders. We don't email you from Aweber. We don't email you from MailChimp. So our programming team, this is not a one-guy shop. This is not Dwayne Golden is the programmer, designer, the janitor, and the receptionist. I don't believe in that. I believe there's great leverage when you work as a unit, as a team. We have a huge team. This is not one guy trying to make millions of dollars off of everyone. So I want to before we get into this, I want you to understand, you're here today because of our autoresponder systems, right? Because without it, we couldn't have reached the JVs that reached you, and we can't reach you even to get on this webinar. So if you get that, follow and pay attention, all right? Now, the best thing we could do today, Dwayne and Charles, is I'm going to create a campaign, right, live. I'm going to call that campaign live, where these guys can register. We're going to put the link in this window. So I want you guys to follow along, and I want you to add yourself, so every one of you can see the autoresponder subscriber list instantaneously. You'll watch it grow, so you'll know that it's effective, and you'll get the email message in your inbox. Okay? So that's for starters. And Dwayne and Charles, if you guys can watch the chat area, if they get a little crazy and there's too much information, too much talking about other things, you gotta let me know so we can slow them down and get them to stop doing that.
Got you.
Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's create this campaign, start to finish. And this is not an all-day thing. I'm going to go ahead and say a campaign. I'm going to go to where it says list campaign. Where is it at? Yeah, here we go. List campaign. Create a campaign. I went to the autoresponder, email campaign, and then create campaign. Let's create one. Here we go. For those of you that create campaigns and you don't title it, if you don't label it, it's going to look really weird when you go to look at your subscribers. See this thing? You got to put names on everything, or your list you won't be able to identify things. So I want you to make sure you label everything. Don't let anything not have a label so you can recognize your list and manage them. Got it? Okay. So now I'm going to call this one Webinar Wednesday Live Test. Boom. Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm doing this to make sure that you guys can see whatever campaign I'm creating. I'm doing it in front of you, and so you can see it doesn't exist already. Okay, so let me go back over here. You'll see that there's no such campaign that exists like this already. So I'm going to open up a list campaign so you guys can see it doesn't already exist. All the campaigns are here. My first campaign, this is all that I have. There's no such thing as Webinar Wednesday Live Test. So now, got that out of the way. Let's go back. Who's sending the message, right? GMP team. You want to know who's sending it? Genius Marketing Pro at dgaresponder.com. So the emails, I want the system to know who it's coming from. By the way, if you want your email delivered, don't put a fake email address here, because you're going to find your email won't be inboxing. There's so many algorithm changes every year by each of the autoresponder service providers, you can't afford to try and fake them out. Put your information there. Now, you go down, and we have a built-in already subscription, thank you for subscribing message. You can edit that here. But I'm going to warn you, if you put a hypey sales message there, you're also likely not to have your messages inboxing, so be careful. When you're creating it, you might already have a confirmation web page of your own that you've created. You can actually put that in here. I don't do that. I like to use the one we've created. I don't want to just reinvent the wheel. I'm all about growing my list to a responsive list, so I don't really get caught up in the things that don't really make the money. But if you have one, you could certainly put your own custom URL here. All right, your own custom message web page. And if you have a specific link, you put it here. If you have a web page or a link, you put them there, right? but I don't do that. Now, when it comes to your unsubscribe message, we have one, thank you for unsubscribing. You are now unsubscribed, but you can create your own. You do that here. If you're new today, don't be nervous. Don't worry about anything if you've never done it before. Everything's written here for you to understand. So don't feel like, oh gosh, what do I do with this? Just follow along. If you're in doubt, leave what we already have checked, leave it checked. Don't be overwhelmed, because you can do this. We all were new at one time, no matter what any guru would tell you that they were doing it from the crib, right, as a baby. Every one of us had to do this, and we all had to make tons of mistakes. Junior and Charles, I'm sure you guys can vouch, we've made a ton of mistakes, and we've sent email messages out with the wrong links in them because we learned that way. That's just part of it.
Sometimes we still do.
Exactly. Sometimes we send it out and there's no message at all. So don't be overwhelmed. Notice we have a built-in subscription message already for you. So if you don't know what to type in there, leave ours in there. You'll be okay. Now, in your messaging, now we're going to get rid of this one that says disable and enable. We're just going to let it show you everybody's double opting in. We're not going to ruin this system for anyone. We have other autoresponder systems, and we allowed people to not double opt in. Many have become the greatest spammers against our server. We're not even going to play with that. Okay? So if you want a subscriber who's really going to potentially buy from you and be your subscriber and follow you, they don't mind confirming their subscription. Period. So all you're going to need to do is put your name. Okay? Genius or GM. I like to put Genius Marketing Pro Team. Bingo. Email message. I mean email address. Now, don't be lazy. Look at everything and make sure you set where you're from. Now, I mean, I use the Eastern time zone. I live in Colombia, but I use the Eastern Standard Time Zone. I'm creating the campaign. Now, that's step one. Create your campaign. All right? Once you create your campaign, you'll notice it's going to be inactive. See this? Inactive. What you're going to want to do is go over and look at what you want to do. I want to activate it so that it's going to be working when I set it up for you guys to click on the link. So activate. If you are not able to see much, fully expand your window. There's an opportunity to expand your video so you can see everything closer. Don't panic about that. So now, guys, we have Webinar Wednesday live test. Now we're going to create an autoresponder form for this. Okay, so follow along with me. We're going to autoresponder, right? And we're going to go to see my opt-in forms. Webinar. We see this one here. I'm going to see where I have this one, Webinar Wednesday Live. Watch what we're going to do now. I got the campaign, right? And now I'm going to go, hang on a second, let me see which one it is. Edit, deactivate, create opt-in form. Do you see it here? Can you guys see my screen, right, Dwayne Charles?
Yeah.
Third icon over, create an opt-in form. So I'm going to do that now so we have a form. And watch the mistake that most people make, Dwayne and Charles. When they create their form, now I don't want to use any of these. All you got to do is just push next. All I'm doing is creating a form to get an ID. But here's what the mistake people make. I said earlier, put a name on everything. Don't let our system do it for you because it's going to be ugly. So now I'm going to call this Webinar Live Test. So I know this list and who everyone is. So now watch what I do. I'm going to click Done. Now I have, I've got my list. I mean my autoresponder form. I have an ID that I'm going to need later on. You guys remember this. I'm going to need a form ID later on when I'm working with our autoresponder capture pages. We're going to use that in just a moment. So as I do that, take a look over here. Now I can get my form ID. I can export all of the subscriber lists. Some of you guys, you use MailChimp, you use Aweber and all those, so when you get your list built up here, you're going to want to export them and import them over there. We don't care. Right here. By the way, let me preface something. We're not going to mail your list. We only mail our list. Someone buys something from us, we mail them, but we're not going to mail your list. It's your list. You want to export them and do what you want, we don't care. they're yours. Now, you see where it says, oh, by the way, this word import should not show there unless it's only for my account. But we don't, because we don't allow it. But you export your list right here. Simple as that. So now, what do we do now that we now have ourselves our list? Let me show you. Under Autoresponder, My Opt-in Forms, take a look. We've got webinar live test, and we don't have any subscribers yet, but if we did, we'd view them right here. So now, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go ahead and stop showing and come back and talk to you for a minute. Take a good look at this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to build your list by creating an autoresponder page. Many of you know you opted into this webinar based on a page that we built in Genius Marketing Pro. And the web page that we use, it literally took all of about 2 minutes to build and put together. So right now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stop for a second, and Dwayne and Charles, I know there's often things that I just miss. So if there's anything I missed or didn't cover, please, one of you guys, either one of you guys, please clarify.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The biggest mistake that I even make myself sometimes is forgetting to name my campaign or forgetting to name the list. And then, you know, after you get a few of them, you don't know which one is which. So it's very important that while you guys are creating this stuff, you know, and using it, make sure you're taking the time to name this stuff. It's really going to help you in the long run.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Dwayne Jr. Charles, anything? We're good.
Yeah, actually, now one of the things I probably go a little farther. I typically have my campaigns done. I have my campaigns probably written ahead of time, and so I've already got my campaigns saved on my hard drive. So you really do want to keep these things straight. One thing you want to do is you want to be able to go back and look at what you've done in the past if something has really worked for you. So all these things, if you can keep them as organized as you can, as it makes sense to you, ahead of time, try to do that.
Yeah. Thanks. And just for the rest, for everyone else, we currently are not allowing, under any circumstances, importing. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to reevaluate in 6 months after watching the email behavior, right, of any of you. And we'll bring it back to the table and consider them. But I will not put everything at risk for one person to really spam the world, and then we have to renew our service. We just seen the patterns with internet marketers, so we're going to ask you, if you want to do that, import over an Aweber, one of those where you pay monthly, and you can export from our system. So I'm going to dive back in, and a couple things I didn't do. I didn't create an autoresponder campaign because we didn't do that. Right now, I didn't create an autoresponder email series yet. Right now, all we're doing is we're showing you how to create your campaign and how to leverage it. So here we go. Yes, that autoresponder, Charles, whoever you are, that autoresponder message didn't come from this system. You'll notice it didn't come from this system at all. So let me just get back to the point here. All right, I'm going back out and show you here before we get to it. There you go. So now I'm going to create the autoresponder form. Or the page. So I'm going to go create new page. And then I'm going to give you guys a chance to opt in. So watch what I do. I guess I can go to an opt-in page. Let me go back. We don't want to lose a whole hour on this. So I'm going to grab a page. Now you guys noticed I just grabbed the page the other day, or maybe I built it from scratch. I don't remember. So let's just grab any page. I'm just looking to see which one may be cool. Not the two people kissing. That's not my style. Here we go. Here's one. So watch how we do this. All right, so I see there's a page here, some people in traffic. Let me go ahead and put a logo in there. I'm going to create this in front of you so you get that. Here we go. Holla back. You guys can manage the chat window. I'm not even going to look. I can't even look at that right now. I want these guys, because for the sake of everyone, I don't want to stop for that anything, okay? So now, let's test this live together, right? Now, opt in now, and now one of the major questions that's been happening, guys, is that someone asked, okay, let me get rid of this first. I don't want to show a phone number text box, but I do want name and email address, right? So I'm going to put the autoresponder information. I want you guys to notice. Remember I said you want to know what your autoresponder information, so watch. I'm going to select Genius Marketing Pro, and then I think I copied it. Hopefully I did. I copied the form ID. Now I want to show you guys where to get that from, okay? So let's do that now. Go to submit. But I'm going to show you where I got this number from, okay? So hang tight with me, or bear with me. Go back a second. And I thank you all for your patience. You go to Autoresponder, right? You see My Opt-in Forms? I want you to see Live Test, Get Form ID. You see all these things here? Get HTML code. Here's what I want you to see. List campaign. Wait a second. There's one of these going to say Get Form Code. Manage Opt-in Form, tracking message. Okay, here it goes. This one. Manage Opt-in Form. And then when I go to Manage Opt-in Form, the ID that it's asking for is right here. All I did was copied it. Oops. All I did was copied it, and I put it in over here where it asked me. I put it in over here. See it? Genius Marketing Pro. I put it in, and now what I want to do is come back and get the redirect. Where do I want them to go afterwards? So we'll get there in a moment. One thing at a time. I need to make sure I the button. Let's see. Get updates. You determine what you want to write here now. Okay? And let's go with the. I don't really like the radius of this thing. There we go. Put a little roundness on it. It could stay that ugly color. I don't really care about that. And it's the right size. So let's go ahead and save this. And now I'm going to give you a blah blah message because you guys can enjoy a little humor. See ya soon. Now, if you guys noticed, in mine, I actually added a photo. You don't really need to do this, but you can insert an image. That's what I did just to have fun with you guys. So I inserted an image, right? So I like to personalize things. I think you guys, you get greater responses if you personalize it, you know. And so we did that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and save. Name a page first. Name everything you do. Name your pages. When a webinar live test. You got to name everything you do so you can come back to it. One of the mistakes, the way we mentioned earlier, is how easy it for any of us to get in a hurry and not do that. So now that I've done that, watch what I do now. I'm going to open up another page again and show you something. I need to create a page to thank people for subscribing. So I'm not done yet. Going to thank you pages. And I want to keep it simple, you know. Something beautiful. Okay. Something gorgeous. Good looking. Joy and Charles, stop me when I seem that I've lost everyone or someone's not paying. I'm not doing the right area. Please stop me, okay?
No, man, you're good. Okay.
So on a thank you page, I don't need a button. Let me get rid of this thing. I don't want a button. So let me go ahead and do this. Okay, cool. Then what I do want to do is thanks for subscribing. Right? Then check your inbox for to confirm your subscription. This is something every one of you guys can do, right? We said do it from start to finish, no problem. All right. Now let's keep it personal. I know you might think, what's the use in this? You don't ever want. Here's what I want you guys to notice. When you got your email message about Genius Marketing Pro, you probably got 50 to 100 from other people. Most of you guys don't personalize your email messages with names and who you are, who they are, and because of it, they usually end up buying from someone else. Clarify as often as you can who it is that's communicating. great things with you, right? That's what I say to do. You can do whatever you want, you know. That's just my take on it. Boom, there it goes. So thanks for subscribing. We got this thing done. Now I'm going to name it, right? Thank you, Webinar Live. So I can know what page it is. Gotta do it, baby. Oops, I didn't put a logo on, right? So let me go ahead and grab a logo. All right, insert image. Trust me, if your dreams and visions aren't worth you taking this kind of time to do it, it's not worth it. And I'm going to tell you something. We could easily get our programmers to create our pages when we work with you, but we create them on the same things we're asking you to do it with, to show you not only that it works, but it doesn't take a lot of time, right? And you can do this without a monthly payment. So hang tight. Once this thing saves, I want you to notice, got it, it's done. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go back out, and I'm going to grab the link, and I'm going to set up my redirect, okay? So I've got a thank you page here. If you go over to the sixth icon, you're going to notice it says visit the page. When you click it, we get to see the thank you page in action, right? Let me cleanse that. Now I got my thank you page. Okay. Already, they know I'm not just trying to make a quick buck. I've personalized my message to them. And now when they register, let me get back over here. You guys are smart. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Now, and go out here, grab my form ID. Now, one thing I didn't bring to you guys' attention earlier is that our team is in the process of making many updates. And in our updates, I want you to note something that's imperative for each of you. That our system, let me go ahead and go back out now. We're gonna, before I get you guys to opt in, I'm gonna get you guys to opt in a moment. Let's see where we do this here. I'm gonna put this in, and while you, that's not this one. I don't want this one. Hang on. While I'm getting you guys to opt in, I want you to notice something. This is a one-time. Oh, I forgot. I need to get rid of this thing. This one-time offer only. But just so you can see, I'm gonna go back out and see you guys and talk to you for a second about something. I want you to see something. I covered some things that I want you not to miss. Name your campaigns, name your forums, name whatever you're doing so you can easily find it. That's number one. Number two, we've only been here for 30 minutes, and I've shown each of you guys something that I trust a lot of you maybe you didn't know how to do. And the reason I'm saying that is if we did that in 30 minutes, imagine what you can cover by giving your business the core part of your business, which is the communication, an hour and a half or so a day. It would be amazing. So, no worries. I'll come back to that, guys, on that stuff. So here's what I want you to know. Sunday and Monday nights of each week, right, we have our major updates that are going to be made. And if you have any of our other products, you know that what we do is we enhance and address anything that needs resolutions or anything that needs attention. We try to make those uploads. We try to do it when the server traffic is at its lowest. Okay? So don't panic. If you have some kind of a bug fix or something, don't sweat it. We didn't just launch to disappear. We didn't launch to try and get rich off of everybody paying $47. What we did was we launched something we expect to be used for years to come. So got that out the way. Now, let's get back, okay? Now, let's get back to the webinar. I want each of you to follow my lead, okay? I'm going to give you guys the link to register in just a moment. We created part of our campaign, but the one thing we didn't do yet is, hang on a second, what have I done? Let me see here. Hang on a second. Let me do something here. One thing we didn't do is create our autoresponder campaigns. All right? I'm going to show you how to create the autoresponder campaign. All right? Our guys are doing some uploads right now, so just give me a moment. All right, so here's what I want to do, Charles and Dwayne. Before I start the autoresponder campaign, Dwayne, can you start off? I want you to kind of like walk them through the importance of this. When someone opts in, it's a great chance for someone to communicate with them for the next 7 to 20 days. Not every day, but periodically. If you could talk about the importance of that real quick, okay? Gina?
Yeah, it's super important. A lot of times what people do is they take all this time to build a list and start a list, and they may get to like 100 people, 200 people, but after they get them in their autoresponder, they never contact them. You know, you spend all this time talking about getting leads, but then when you finally get them, you're not using them. So what you want to do is make sure you have automated messages set up, and then on top of that, be broadcasting them at least once a day or once every 2 days, man. So, you know, don't spend all your time trying to build a list and then once you get one, not mailing them.
Thank you. You guys heard that. So when you get to the point where you've got a few hundred subscribers, which some of you guys may have thousands, you really can't afford to go out and write an individual message every day to every campaign. But when you set up Autoresponder series, you'll have the opportunity to set up and leverage. Hey, Jolly, I just sent you a message too, by the way. If you're in here, I sent you a message. So now check this out. You have an opportunity to communicate with thousands of people from a campaign or a series you've written months ago. And Charles, I know that all of us are on someone's list. So I'm going to get this. I'm going to put something to rest, and you can talk about this for a minute. Many people think, oh gosh, I bought something from this one guru, and now they're emailing my list, or I've referred some people. If you didn't get this yet, we're all on someone's list. We're all on Best Buys, Macy's, Sears, someone who bought something years ago. Everyone gets a ton of messages every day from somewhere. That's not going to stop. So I want to help you guys to realize something, that this is the kind of thing that you have to like leverage yourself. Don't think that there's only this much part of a pie, and the rest, of course, is everything else is a threat to you. It's not the case at all. You're going to find out that the more you follow what we're telling you, when you personalize your messaging, when you can communicate directly with them using their name and using your name, and you just find a way to engage, you're going to find out that it doesn't matter who else is emailing them, they're going to like opening your messages. They're going to enjoy interacting with you because you're not just trying to pitch, sell. You're actually talking to them, not at them. So Charles, can you touch on that a little bit before I get into this? Can you hear me, Charles?
Okay, yeah, I was muted. I was in support. Just answering some of the questions here. What was your question again, Dwayne?
Yeah, I was talking about the importance of not living in a box, thinking that, oh no, all these people are going to email my list. Everybody, there's going to be tons of people emailing all of our list every day. Even the corporations from Target, Macy's, Walmart, everybody's emailing everyone. You can't. No one gets out of it alive.
Yeah.
What I was saying is, what they can do is really pay attention to what I'm about to show in creating Autoresponder series by engaging and working with your subscribers in a personal way. Use their name. Don't just ask for an email address so you can say, hey, person. Actually get their name. And then when you interact, do what I've done. I actually use my picture and my name, engage people so they know that you are talking to them personally, and it's engagement. So out of all the email messages they get, they'll desire to open theirs. And I wanted you to like touch on a little bit of the importance of that before, so I can jump into this Autoresponder series.
Yeah, and there are a whole lot of things that you can do, but definitely you want to personalize. You know, even I think Dwayne and Junior and I were talking about a little while back. I mean, there are ways that you can, even within your email, to really try to I think engage people on a real personal level. So there are two steps, and there are two parts of this. What Dwayne is talking about is you have to get people to open the email. And so the personalization of that subject line is important because you want people to see something and say, oh, okay, yeah, I want to open that. Then the second part is what's in the email. And what's in the email is you, at some level, however you do it, you have to be able to touch people on a personal level. We talked about that, I think, who's it, Russell Brunson that wrote that in .com Secrets? Talked about really writing on a level that you talk about everyday things to some degree so that, again, you make a personal connection.
Somebody was asking
what Dwayne is talking about.
Good. Someone was asking in the chat window, how do you make this writing process easy? When I'm writing, it doesn't feel real. Honestly, there's no easy way to do it. The only way you get good at doing any of it is by actually writing every day. That's the only way it gets easier is if you do it every day. So if you're not doing it every day, it's going to be just as hard for you 3 months from now.
And also, we have different trainings that we already exist and that we can bring to the table. We'll try to get most of our. I saw several questions asking about other products that we have, and don't worry, we'll have a section in the resource section so you guys can see it. We do teach on this stuff, but Dwayne said it. You can learn from every guru, be on a webinar 20 days a week, but if you don't apply yourself, you don't start just doing it, the only learning curve to have is the one of just doing it. We had to write a lot of messages that people just had to unsubscribe because we weren't good at engaging. We had to learn the hard way, and to try to go around it, I think one of the best ways of learning is certainly learn from those who are teaching, but you have to start applying and make that work. So good comment, Dwayne. Okay, so now it's time for me to go ahead and show the sequence because I know it's getting late, and I need to get back. So here we go. And our programmers are updating because I wanted to get you guys to opt in live, but the important thing is to teach you now. So let's go out, and I'm going to show how to do this, okay? And you guys, please watch the window for me so we can get back to it. So now, what am I going to do? Let's go out, and let's work with the Autoresponder series, right? Email campaign. We created a campaign, right? Let's go to list campaign. And you guys know we created a webinar test live. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going over to, look at this, create tracking messages. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I just got a message from our programmers for me not to try to do any opt-ins stuff while they're uploading. For the next 2.5 hours they're updating. So there's nothing you can do right now. So right now I'm going to create the messages, but I'm not going to be able to share this link with you guys yet. So check this out, guys. Can you see my screen, Charles and Dwayne? And
yeah.
Yep, we can see.
Okay, so create tracking messages. Here's the power. I'm going to blow you away with this, and I want you to check it out. So now, how do I want my message formatting, right? I want to go ahead and decide I like text and HTML. Some people, depending on where they live in the world, they're still using analog phones. Not too many places, but they do. I want them to get the messages too. So if it's called MIME, right? If you can do both. So we're going to do both. And what's the subject? I'm creating my first email message, right? So it can be, thank you for subscribing to our update, to GMP updates, right? But watch what I do here, guys. I insert the name. It's got to be personal. How many of you noticed when you got the email message from us today for this webinar, when you subscribed, when I invited you to the webinar, in that inviting webinar message, how many of you will note that you got it in with your whatever name you used to subscribe? Type in the number 3. Now, I'm creating the first message, right? I'm going to share this with you. In the first message, I want you to note we are excited to give you our first update coming on 11/18 that will really give you a boost. Name. I only do this in the first line. I got to make sure I say hello name or I username in the first. Now watch this. Inside, I want you to understand for filtration and deliverability, it's really important to make sure that your messaging, your autoresponder series and your broadcast should have messaging that goes no more than 68 to 72 characters wide. So I like to make it right in the middle of the word size. That's how I determine that, right? And then I go ahead and go to the next line. And then I can go blah, blah, blah. And I can say, join us. Watch this now. Join us for your first walk through. I can't even spell that, you guys, but you guys are more educated, so you can. Here we go. All right. All the best. Personalization is what makes the money happen. The greater their engagement, the more the money, the greater their subscription, and the least amount of unsubscribes you'll get. All right, so now done it. Now, what about this thing? I like to make it bold, and I like to include a link, www.google.com. So now, I got a message, guys. The first one is done. So here's what you get to determine. If you use Aweber or MailChimp, you're already used to this. You can determine how soon you want them to get the message when they opt in. So, Dwayne and Charles, what do you guys recommend? The very first email message, should they get it the first right away, or should they wait a day or two? What do you prefer on this?
Right away.
Okay,
yeah, immediately.
0 messages. All right, 0 days. We want them to get the message 0 days from when they opted in. And yes, we want to track how many opens. How many clicks happened on the link. How many times did they click on the link? So let's take a walk together and see. Create new message. We got our first message. Your new message has been added, right? Thank you for subscribing. And notice it says text and email, but it's only the first one. What's the next action? We need to create another message for this one, right? So now I'm going back to my campaign, brothers and sisters, list campaigns, and I'm going to create another message. And I'm going to determine when I want this one to happen. And yes, I want it to be both. And now, just for the sake of getting you through it, oops. Right? And I'm going to go like this, just so you guys get the point. There. Now, notice. Now I'm going to go and decide when do I want this one to show up. Let's make it 2 days after, just for the sake. And yes, I want it to track the links. Bingo. Done. Now I've got, look at this. Immediately they're going to get a message, and then 2 days from the subscription they're going to get a message. One more, just so you guys can see how this is done. Charles and Dwayne, am I okay, or can I continue?
Go ahead, man.
Here we go. I'm going back out. I'm going to create another tracking message. This one is going to be just for you. Now, got it in. Now, just for you, blah 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 blah. I know I'm speaking the language that many of you want to hear. I sounded just like your spouse when you're trying to enjoy something. All right. So I say, hey, wait a minute, that wasn't funny. Okay. Here we go. Now we can get this one on day 3, just for the sake of it. Now I save. Now Charles and Dwayne, I'm going to go out. I'm going to talk a second. Don't worry, I know I'm not going to keep everyone all day. I want you to see something. You can use the autoresponder code. Yes, oh, thank you, Charles, for answering those. So here's what I want you guys to understand. You just saw how to create an autoresponder series. Now I want to show you how to leverage, how to gain more for your buck, how to actually get more. Watch this now. Gain leverage where you lack in time, where you don't have the time to do a lot of things. So now we're going to create a broadcast message to everyone that subscribed to our list. That's how I send an email message to you guys and invited you to the webinar. I just broadcasted a message. But what you guys are going to be able to do is leverage that by automatically connecting it to an autoresponder series. Let's take a look. We told you guys from start to finish. So watch this. And thanks for handling those questions, guys. It's pretty cool. So now it says email broadcaster. I want to create a broadcast message to my list. Hello. Webinar Wednesday. Right? For the sake of argument, I will do this, yeah. All right, so now, you guys see something really cool. Now, take a look at this. I want you to see, do you see my webinar? Do you see my list? I can just check it off, the one I want to broadcast to. I can decide to schedule it so it goes out any time in the world. I can decide to schedule what day of the week and what time I want it to do it. And it's going to remember what time zone I decide. That's why I told you guys to set up your campaign and choose your time zone. And when I want to schedule it, I can do that. So I'm going to send it immediately. Well, watch this. Who's it coming from? Well, of course, Genius, Marketing Pro Team, and what email message? Now, it's asking me to trigger an autoresponder message. Now, Dwayne and Charles, can one of you or both of you explain what this is talking about? To trigger an autoresponder message after they get this message, could one of you guys explain that part?
So you can connect it to an autoresponder. Basically, what it's doing. After they get the message, it'll connect it to any series that you already had created.
Cool, great. And yes, Ned, this is live. Okay, I'm surprised you'd ask that, but yes, it is live. So now I'm going to go back out and I'm going to get to it. So now I'm going to select one. All of these autoresponder series I connected, but I created 3 messages. Holler, and now after you get the message, it's going to start the campaign. First, immediately, you're going to get the message I made that happens 0 days. Then in 2 days, they're going to get the next message. And then on the 3rd day, they're going to get the next one. So if you want to communicate with your people with a 12-month newsletter, and here's the power of this. You can easily write 12 different newsletter messages all at once and communicate with your subscribers for the next year. So they know you care about them. You're not just trying to pitch something. You can write them in advance. You can write out your Christmas message in advance and have it go out on December 24th. That's the power of connecting it to an autoresponder series after you broadcast. You really don't have to write email messages every day if what you do is fixed. So before I actually push this, let me go ahead and clarify what I'm talking about. All right? If everything in your business is fixed, your website is fixed, the prices aren't changing, the products aren't changing, you can literally write out your entire year campaign in advance. And when someone opts in, you can communicate with them for the entire year. You can have all your offers in place. If things are fixed, why wait? Just so happens a lot of what I do, things aren't fixed, so we have to do the opposite. If you don't know the power of this, understand, as you know, a lot of you guys don't know this, you can do this stuff without a college education. You can just be great at it. But some of the things I learned when in school, in my business major, in my business training, is that many of the corporations that talk to you, they didn't decide to wake up and write a message. At the beginning of the year, they have each quarter outlined, and they write their messages in advance so that once you opt into any of their sites, during that time of the month or during that time of the year, you're going to get these automatic campaigns. So you can learn this strategy and begin to utilize it. So, and let me go ahead and stop that. I should have had that off. I didn't know it was still on. So now, here's the power. Now, what I want to happen is that you guys understand we're showing you how to start a campaign from start to finish, but there's a lot of things that you can apply yourself from your own desires of what you want to do. You don't have to be married to what I'm showing you. Just make sure you do the essentials. Do your own thing. Do what you're learning from your guru teacher, from your master teacher, whoever you're learning from. But if you're going to use this autoresponder system, here's how it works. And okay, so let me go ahead and send that email message out, guys, if you're okay with it. There's no one in that list, but I needed you to understand this. So now, the first thing I'm going to do is test the message. I like to do this. dgolden464@yahoo.com. I like this to do this. So now in my inbox, I'll have a message there waiting for me. Now I could send it to the list. I want you to understand, because there's no one in it, it tells me it sent it. Now, 0 people have gotten this message. Just pretend it said 100 or 1,000. And then, for a number of days, my autoresponder series will meet them head on. So, now that I've gotten that out the way, I'm coming back to you. All right? We've already taken all but an hour. So, there's several messages here. Charles and you guys have been doing a great job at handling those, because certainly in this kind of webinar or this kind of orientation, we really needed to give you guys a reason to dive in and try it. And I'm going to ask you, if you're trying, don't try within the next 2-3 hours. Our programming team is doing updates, okay? And because they're doing updates, we don't want you to have any issues while you're doing your campaign. So the cool thing is, you got a great start, a head start. Over the next few weeks, I know tomorrow we're doing we're going to have a webinar. You're going to get an email message. I want you guys to open it. We're going to invite you to show you how to leverage dynamic funneling and instant payments. You don't know how to do that. You heard about it. You want to jump on board, but you don't know what to do. We also are on next Tuesday. We're doing a webinar showing you. It's our resell. In fact, that may be Friday. That may be Friday for our resellers. Friday, we're going to do a webinar on mastering and leveraging the reseller package. We can tell by all the sales we've been seeing for the DFY funnels, you guys are going to do great with this when you start using your autoresponder and things like that. Well, now after Friday, it's going to be time to build up. We want to show you how to make your first 5 figures. Some of you guys are on your way of making 5 figures just with the DFY funnels. So we know this is working for you, but we want you to be able to leverage it. So thank you, Jerry. I'm going to start with you, Charles. Are there any final autoresponder comments that you want to leave for these guys based on the questions they've been asking, because I missed most of them? If so, please, I'm going to start with you, Charles, and then Dwayne, you.
Yeah, there are a couple of things. Number one, one thing that I do before a message actually gets there, and you might have even covered this, Dwayne, forgive me if you did, I like to send one email to myself, and then just kind of, if you keep a list with just yourself in one, just have one email sent to you so that you get it, you know how it looks, and then if it looks good to you when it comes in and it makes your inbox, then you go back and then you send it out to everybody else. That's going to save you a lot of time, because you don't want to write a great email and then have a lot of them go to spam, but you can actually head some of that off up front by having it sent to yourself first.
Yeah, that's great. And Charles, while you're on that, let me demonstrate that part, and then Dwayne, I'm coming to you. Number one, there's 2 things we do when we send email messages out. And one of them is to send it to ourselves. The other one is to send it to a mail tester to test the quality of the message. Many of you don't know, before we sent you the message to invite you to the webinar, we tested it first. This is our thing. So take a look at my screen. You'll notice, oh, I can't show you my screen yet. Let me show you my screen so that you can get this. It's very important. This is what I do to test the quality of my message. I'm going to show you this and want you to get, I love deliverability, so take a look at my screen. And I learned this from Charles. So this was, when we send it to a site, right? I'm going to show you how to do that. And then we actually put it in the autoresponder, the link, and we send it to ourselves. So there's a website that will test your message's deliverability in case you want to find that if you're a spammer, right? And there are things that you can do to really make sure that no one's going to get your message. Sometimes they won't even get into spam. They just won't deliver at all. They'll just bounce. So let's take a look. 2 things. Number one, mail tester. What you do is you go to mailtester.com. Charles, you can put that in the window to show these guys how it works. Mail-tester.com. They will give you a link to send your message to. So watch how this works, my friends. So I'm going to go and create a broadcast message, okay? All right, so now I'm going to create a message. I'm not really going to send it. I'm just going to show you how to do it. Now, it's not going to accept this. It's going to think this is spam. Right? Now, let's just say I'm going to do like some of you guys do, because you're afraid to mention it's who you are, so you'll make up a name. I'm going to call it Ralph, and then make a fake name like Ralph 27 at AOL. And here's what I noticed. A lot of you guys, you know what you're doing is spam, so you don't connect it to anything. So now, watch this. I'm going to send this to myself. I'd be surprised if I get it, and I'd be surprised if it got a score above 4. Right? Now I'm going to put that link in there. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm putting the link I got from Mail Tester. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back, and I'm going to send this message. Sent. Right? I'm going to wait a minute or so, and then I'm going to test it. I'm going to first click on this link to see what in the heck has happened. Look at the score I get, guys. 5.7. I did blah, blah, blah. Now, anything under a 7 or an 8 is going to end up with the majority of them bouncing or going to spam. They give you a report out and tell you why. For example, look at the sender email address. I did a fake email address. It also gives me things I can improve on in the way I worded things, right? Now, am I blacklisted from the server? No, it knows that. Do I have any broken links in there? No. If I did, the score would go further down. I don't send a message out personally unless I have above 8. I always like to get 10 out of 10. So this is something that's key. Now, there's a good chance it never came to Yahoo. If it did, it ended up in spam. Now, I'm in a foreign country. It may not have come at all. It's not even going to open here. My Yahoo. I don't have my IP address rotator on, but you guys get the point. So Charles, great point. Send a message always to yourself. One of the best ways to do that is include yourself in the campaign. How do you do it? Number one, you go out to your form, right? Webinar test, and you get the form. You get the form, the HTML code, right? Watch this. Then you add yourself. How do you add yourself? I know, guys, you get to watch this over and over if you don't know what I'm doing. I get the external link, I post it, and then I opt my own name into my list so that I know I'm getting it too. I type it in, and I get the message too. That's it. Great point, Charles. It's something that will help you guys. If you have to go, I get it, but we want to make sure we don't miss some essentials with you guys. So, how do I take payment to PayPal? All right, I've already covered that in the beginning. If you missed it, I just tell you to go to payment options under the My Account section and complete that. Dwayne Jr., any last-minute advice of an essential that these guys really need to do, take advantage of, so they can get set up in the next 3 to 4 hours?
My mic was on mute. Sorry about that. But I was saying, no, I don't have anything essential or anything like that. But to answer a couple questions. We said it a couple of times. We get the autoresponder limit is 2,500. We will have it available to upgrade in the future after this launch in the autoresponder section. But as of now, the limit is 2,500. And as far as importing leads, we're not going to allow importing leads. However, you can blast your current list wherever autoresponder you use with a new link to opt in here using our system. If that's one thing you want to do. So, but that's all I got.
Cool. Thanks, man. So you guys have heard it. We know you've asked some of you guys the same questions. If you came late and you missed some of the stuff we covered, it's okay. What we do, just like we did on the webinar Monday night, we send out in an email the replay. So yes, 2,500 limit for subscribers. After the launch, we'll begin next week where you can upgrade. If you want to have 5,000 or 10,000, that's up to you. You have a chance to upgrade that. But just note, a lot of the questions some of you are asking, we did answer. So integrate active campaign. Yeah, what we'll do, you'll see next week, after the launch is over, you can submit requests for your favorite autoresponder, right? So we can integrate that if it's possible, if they have a good API for us to do that, okay? Who do you recommend as mail testing service? I just did that a moment ago, and we put in the link. You can test your own, right? You don't have to use a service. Thanks, guys. In the meantime, God bless you guys, and remember, please, be kind to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. There's a struggle. And for you, it may not be finances. It may be health. It may be relational. Relax. Don't be so uptight that you have to be a tyrant. Be loving, because it will turn out to be your best friend when it comes to mailing and engaging. Have a good day from the Genius Marketing Pro team. This is Dwayne Golden Jr. and Charles Harper. Take care.